the little box we have here.
Yeah, okay. What are some of the documents that we should include in that financial go kit?
Well, one of the things you need, especially for recovering from a disaster situation that may affect the livability of your residence or other things that you own, definitely need insurance policies, whether they are health insurance, homeowners insurance, fire insurance, any kind of property insurance. We want birth certificates, marriage certificates, Social Security copies of your cards. We also want to have things like your estate planning documents, so your revocable trust, your will, your powers of attorney. Having copies of those documents available if they need to be used can be very helpful. Also, one of the things we experienced during the 2005 hurricanes in the Gulf Coast was the fact that people could not prove that they lived in the area that was affected because they left without taking anything with them. So we also recommend people have copies of the deeds to their homes. They maybe have an escrow instructions or settlement papers, and also any kind of maybe copies of a utility bill or something showing that you were the resident at that particular address in order to receive services and emergency assistance.
So a driver's license isn't enough with?
Well, a driver's license is a start, but a driver's license does not necessarily prove birth. It doesn't prove citizenship. It doesn't prove that you owned something. And so having the ownership documents is very important. For people who are veterans, really important to have your discharge papers that might entitle you to veterans services.
Wow. Kind of an awesome task, and even just finding some of these things anyway for some people might be challenging, when they move and all these other things. So
well,
anyway.
That's why it's really important to start the process. And then if you're missing any of the things that happen to be on some of these checklists, you can go back and fill in what you are missing. And it's easy to put it off because it's not something that any of us like to think is right around the corner. But the experiences that we've had with some of the larger emergencies and helping people through the Red Cross is that the people who have those kinds of documents available are able to get their services much more quickly, are able to get back on the road to recovery, to start getting their homes rebuilt, to get their insurance proceeds, to get the medical care they need. So it's going to help you tremendously to be able to have those documents right there when somebody asks you for them. The other thing I think is somewhat unique over the last maybe 10 to 20 years is many people run their businesses from their homes now. They have small home offices, and so all of those records also need to be copied, scanned, and put in a place where you can take them, because if your home is destroyed or damaged, not only will you lose the place you live, but you will also lose your ability to earn a living, at least for a short period of time. So when we talk to people about backing up computers and client records, if you're a professional or any of those kinds of things, also doubly applies to the homeowner the home business person who operates out of their residence.
Yeah, that's frightening and intimidating, because when we're talking about all the tax documents, oh my gosh, to think about trying to put all that onto CDs and so forth, that could be an enormous job. And I don't know if it's even realistic, but anyway. But at least, folks, get started with your personal stuff first, and maybe focus on some of the essentials for that other stuff, particularly things like, your client list. Like you said, the computer backup, if you've got it on some sort of a tape or a CD or DVD or whatever,
right?
It's going to be an enormous. And these days, of course, now we've got these thumb drives.
You could do it on a flash drive.
And so
that might have enough room for everything you need.
So that's a really helpful thing, and those are fast.
So very quick.
So yeah.
And as I said, if you have a teenager or an older middle school kid, great project for them because they can do that kind of stuff. They understand how to get it saved. And there also are professional companies that do this kind of thing, or even your local place like Kinko's or Staples or mailboxes, etc. I called and got a couple of prices for what it would charge to and take to actually scan a pack or a stack of documents, somewhere between $15 and $50, which would include the cost of the CD-ROM. Probably some of the best money you'll ever spend if you need those documents and need to recreate them.
I was just thinking, what if you just get divorced and you get kicked out of the house? You might be glad to have that. So,
well, I guess
there's a lot of different types of disasters, right?
There's lots of disasters, and in addition to natural disasters, we do have man-made ones, and certainly family situations that might lend themselves to that. So.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure where we are time-wise, but anyway, let's talk about some other resources that there are for information about disaster preparedness.
Well, Red Cross has a national website. It's redcross, all one word, .org. And on there are the resources you need for personal preparedness, as well as there's a whole section on financial recovery. And it'll list on there the documents that and the types of papers that you can have to put together in your financial go kit. Your local office, your county office of emergency services, OES, has that kind of information as well. And your state office, the California State Office of Emergency Services, will also have resources that you can use. And our friends at FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And since 2005, there have been dramatic changes at FEMA, and we have been working in partnership with them and all the local agencies in order to make it a more streamlined process. So those are some other resources, and all those, well, you can find them easily by Googling them and some kind of a search engine and locating them as well.
That's great.
I did think of a few other things that would be pertinent for your financial go kits.
Okay.
Your banking institution information, a list of your credit cards and the credit card numbers would be critical, because many people do their banking online now, or they pay their bills online. And if the power is out and you don't have the ability to pay your bills online, you want to know where those credit card companies are and how to get in touch with them the old-fashioned way, by mail or by phone. So those kinds of things are very good to have. Another thing which is on the Go Kit list is cash. Have a little
minor detail,
little bit of money. Most of us live in the credit plastic world now because we can buy anything from a Starbucks coffee to a car with our credit or debit card. When the ATMs are down, the electricity's out, there isn't the cash on hand, you're not going to be able to go and get the cash to do that. So very good to have at least a small supply of some cash or traveler's checks and some rolls of quarters. I know that isn't something most people carry around anymore, but but very useful to have. And again, when we had some of the large disasters with the wildfires, with the hurricanes in the Gulf Coast, there were weeks when the power was not on and people could not access their banking records or the cash that they had in the bank. So.